This is fight 244, fighting at a stadium down in Hua Hin, where I've not fought in many years. And I'm fighting a very, very good opponent, Jomkwan Klangsangsarakam. I've actually fought her 2 times before, but many years ago. I fought her for my 121st fight and my 141st fight. The first time was in Karat, which is where she's from, and I beat her, and I think it was like a big upset. And then we fought again in Sarakam, and she beat me. And I was upset, but I don't think it was a big upset. In my corner, I have the Petchrungruang gym. They're a gym down in Hua Hin, who I'm friendly with. And they came to support me, watch me fight, and stepped up to help corner for me. Actually, I fought one of their girls. I call her the Golden Rabbit. Her name in Thai is the Golden Rabbit. And I haven't seen her in years, and she came over to my mat before the fight, which made me really happy. That's Jomkwan. She seals the ring in the opposite direction from what most people do. There are some fighters who do this. I don't know why they do it that way. But you kind of get tangled as you're like sealing off the ring sometimes. I don't know if maybe it's like a psychological thing that they do, or if they just go that way one time and then keep going that way. But she's a little bit taller than me. She's probably 4 or 5 kilos heavier, but she's a really, really good opponent. She has this like breadth of vocabulary and everything that she's able to do. And the first time we fought, I beat her in the clinch, and then she made adjustments for our second fight and stayed away from me a little bit, but she's just really smart, experienced, skilled. When I found out I was fighting her, this fight kind of fell into my lap. It was kind of last minute thrown together. And to get an opponent like this last minute is really awesome. But when I found out that I was fighting Jomkwan, I was simultaneously excited because she's a really good opponent, and very nervous because she's a really good opponent who I haven't faced in many years. So I know that I've changed, and one would imagine that she's changed. So you have these expectations about what you know someone does, but then there's also this level of unknown of like, how have you changed and how have they changed to kind of make differences in what that fight is going to look like. I really liked this stadium. It's the Hua Hin Muay Thai gym turned into a stadium for this fight night. And it felt like a festival fight. Like if you look at the tarps around the back, like that blue area there, you just go and set up your mat like in the grass, which is what it feels like when you fight at a festival. And there was this little kitten that like came and liked our mat and hung out on the mat, which was really cool. I got a little overzealous in my executioner part of my runway going into this fight. People liked it though. Jomkwan has a beautiful runway. When you see her go to the ropes and do her like footwork as she goes back and forth, it's really smooth. You can always, when you watch your opponent's ramoi, you can kind of tell how experienced they are by how they do it. That's one of the reasons people do the ramoi is it's like a warm-up, and it's honoring your teachers as part of the Y crew and things like this, but it's also a way to like intimidate your opponent, show your opponent what you've got. She has really nice balance. Look at her feet. Her arms go so nice. It's actually a little bit similar to what Petchrungruang does on her ramoi as I remember it. It's very pretty. Sometimes I turn around and don't watch my opponent's ramoi. I think that now I watch more because I'm less psychologically moved by what they're doing. I actually want to see what their ramoi looks like. Hers is really nice. So here you can see our size difference a little bit. She put her gloves over my gloves, which is a little bit of a like dominance thing at the center of the ring as you're going in. This man in my corner is Kin. He's the head trainer at Petchrungruang Gym. And Jomkwan's teammate had fought a fight earlier in the card, and so I'd been watching her walk around with her teammate. We were kind of ignoring each other before the fight a little bit. So I remembered that in our second fight together, she teeped the shit out of me. So I was kind of like, part of my nerves about this fight were how she teeps. So I was at least anticipating that. Her leg kicks were good. I think her first like 3 strikes, she actually just took the breath out of me with that teep. That one, sorry, it was the second one. I'm coming in a little bit slower because I actually can't breathe right now. Like, she knocked the wind out of me. And I knew that if I came in too hard and she hit me again, it would be a problem. So when you get hurt, you have to not show it. And the way you learn to do that is by getting hurt in training and not showing it. I'm lucky in that my training partners will keep hitting you if they've landed something nice on you, which helps you learn to hide it. I've been working on eye contact in my training. And I started out with it in this fight pretty well. In round 1, I was like looking her in the eyes. She also looks in the eyes, and I think that she's a little bit better at it than I am, so I lost it when she started kicking my legs. Look at her balance too. Like, the few times that I've caught her kicks and tried to throw her off balance, she is just on it. There. She doesn't even, like, not even close to going down. She's so good. Here she's waiting for me to come in. She's got this nice wall of china. See how she puts her foot like between my legs? There's no way I can get around that. It's really good. You can't tip someone off of that. Here I started moving my leg away from her leg kicks and making her miss. She was throwing them really hard, so she spins out. The next step for me is to then charge in as she's spinning around, like as she misses. See how she's collapsing my leg a little bit? Diesel Noi talked to me after the fight on Messenger and was telling me that the problem with these leg kicks was the way I was collapsing my leg, so we're going to work on that the next time I see him next week. This guy helping me in my corner is actually the husband of Golden Rabbit, who I fought all those years ago. So they were sitting next to me on the mat leading up to the fight pretty much the entire time. It's really sweet. He's a trainer at the Por Pramin gym. Very young. They have 2 kids now, which is why Golden Rabbit isn't fighting anymore. They couldn't organize getting the chair in fast enough, and I was like, don't worry about it. So that's why I'm standing. I don't mind standing between rounds. It's not so exhausting that you like have to sit between rounds. But just on this first one, it was because they hadn't organized themselves for getting the tray and the bucket and the chair in. It's actually like a full plastic chair. It's not even a little stool. This is one of these things where like my leg was buckling and I was getting hit pretty hard by those leg kicks, but it's round 1, so it doesn't really matter that much. You just kind of let the fight develop in those earlier rounds to like see where everything's at. But when you take that many, you start feeling it for the other rounds as well. Look at how long her legs are when she's teeping me. I started teeping her back. Teep the teeper is what Kevin says. That was a nice hard right kick up in my shoulder. So here, I finally grab her in the clinch. Kevin had told me before the fight, he's like, because you beat her the first time in the clinch, you need to clinch her early. So I didn't really clinch her in round 1. I'm starting to try to close in more in round 2 to at least get it closer to my range of the game. Oh, that was a nice elbow. This is what she did really well in our second fight, is she kind of like turned me sideways with this face smush. I, years ago, had a very bad habit of overturning, which is one of the reasons Karahat had me change to southpaw. And I've gotten better at being able to like right myself and kind of square myself up in the clinch. So for me, what was good about this fight against someone who's actually a very good clincher is that trying to grab her leg kick, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that. See how she's trying to knock me out with the leg kicks? Then I started, that's what we call the low kick destroyer from Pinoy. She does not low kick so much anymore because I blocked with my knee and it hurt her shin. But she's a good clincher. See how she moves and is trying to control my arm. She's not really a locker. This forces me to use broader vocabulary of my clinch. So whereas she has an amazing vocabulary as a striker, like at a distance, my vocabulary in the clinch has expanded. So it's a battle of range and space between the two of us. Her glove came untied. They hadn't taped it, so that's what's happening here. A little bit of a break. I'm not sure if time kept going or not. That must have. So rounds 1 and 2, not super important on the scorecard. So she's got dominant moments in both of those rounds with her leg kicks and face teeps, all kinds of things like this. They don't matter too much unless they carry over into the greater arc of the fight. So moving into round 3, I basically need to enforce my range and stay much closer to her so that I can grab her in the clinch and score where I score. Smiling at Kevin, telling me what I should do. He's telling me to go left. I tend to drift right. This is Kin telling me that I need to block her low kicks across the way. He saw me hurt her with my knee on that one cross block. I think I hurt her enough that she didn't do much more low kicking after that. She had a good run there trying to knock me out or make me quit or hurt me a lot with those low kicks in that little burst there, though. They definitely hurt, but I actually felt them strongest on the car ride home. So here they're taping her gloves. Again, a little bit of a longer break to take care of the laces. Some fighters will purposefully take a really long time getting out of the corner in order to have a longer break. She actually only has one corner man, so I think it's not necessarily that they're doing here. It's that his tasks actually just took too long. So here we go. Round 3 is when it really starts to establish what the arc of the fight is going to be. I'm really happy when I see myself smile in moments like that, like when she almost kicks me in the head and I smile. It means that I'm pretty relaxed, not stressing about, oh, that was such a good drop on her part, and she stood over me. She was like standing on top of me, basically. It's a very dominant moment. Going back after my legs. I start kicking her legs, and I noticed immediately when I landed that first one that it had an impact. Like, I think she was surprised that I was coming back at her with leg kicks as well. So I'm getting a little bit tangled, like I'm snuffing my space a little bit. And so that was something that I had to kind of like pull together as I was trying to get close to her. Is you want to get close to her, but you want to get close to her. Oh, that jumping knee she just did landed right on my nose. It was totally like, could have been amazing if she was like a half-inch closer. Here again, beautiful turn from her. She has really good timing, but I'm locking her arm. This arm hook has become like a big part of my clinch game, and it's working really well against her to kind of like keep her in position because she loves to go sideways and turn me sideways. That was a body punch. Here I've got her arm locked, elbow. Oh. She's trying to time me, but I'm kind of pulling her a little bit more, so I got some really nice knees into her gut right there. Both having to fix our shorts as we get out of that. So here she's waiting for me to come in, but you can see that she's changed her breathing, or I can see that she's changed her breathing. Here I'm like squeezing her body to make it harder for her to breathe, to recover from any of the strikes that I'm getting into her middle. So it was she had a really good start to that round with those two dominant, the turn and the throwdown. Both of those were really big for her, but what I was scoring with in the corner there, with the body punches and her against the ropes and the knees, that was really big for me. So I finished that round really strong, which means that even though on like a calculator that's probably a pretty close round, going into this round, I'm riding the top of the wave, whereas hers was kind of earlier in the round, so she's got to kind of climb back out of it. still relaxed. I was looking over and Miriam from Porperman Gym was also live streaming the fight, and she was next to one of the judges, and he was like pointing at me and being like, "Oh, she's actually quite good." Miriam was like, "Yes." It's kind of nice to be able to look across the ring and see that I was impressing one of the judges. I very rarely get to wear my blue shorts. I'm usually in the red corner when I fight in Chiang Mai, so stoked to have these shorts on. All right, so I have to push to continue on with the lead that I had at the end of that round. I'm bouncing my leg pretty nice, which makes me happy. I've been doing this a lot when I'm sparring with Crew New lately. Dieselnoy's been in our gym. He comes every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the next 6 months. He's been working with me on how I close distance. Oh, look at her turn. Those knees are really nice that she's throwing. She's just barely missing because I'm able to kind of pull my leg out. That was a Karahat move there to like step back and then close the space again. So here, we're in pretty even positions, but I'm scoring, whereas she's just trying to stagnate. So when she can kind of close me off, it looks good for her, but it's not actually a point. She's basically trying to stay away and catch her breath a little bit here, so I just have to stay close. Her wall of China was working earlier, but I'm able to kind of move her off of it faster. So again, it looks more like her trying to get away from me rather than her stagnating me. I'm happy that I was using more punches in this fight. I used to punch a lot, like way back before my 100 fights or whatever. That teep, I don't think I've ever thrown a teep like that in a fight yet, although I hit Crew New with it a lot. And here I'm kicking her legs, and she started putting herself in the corner. She's trying to get away from me. It's like a Yodpan Pan elbow. Kevin called it the gorilla elbow because I like gorilla climbed her. And then here, 2 deep knees to the gut. I think I may have hit her liver. She was down for a really long time. She was in a lot of pain. Even like 20 minutes after the fight, she was not really walking so well. I went over and said sorry, and we smiled at each other. We were totally on good terms, but that looks very painful. I didn't know prior to getting into the ring that this was for, for a belt. That'll happen sometimes in Thailand. It's not a real title of anything. It was awkward for me to be standing there waiting for the promoter to get in and put the belt on me when I actually wanted to go over and help Jomkwan get up. It was uncomfortable to be standing there like that. This is the promoter in the orange shirt coming through. He's good friends with Karahat and Gansak, former fighter. And this is his gym. Quite a lot of people came and took photos with me that night, which was really nice. It was before my fight, which means that they actually came to see me, people who know me from online prior to this. I went over to try to help Jomkwan up, and they were like, no, come back here and take more photos. Who's taking photos? I didn't even know where the cameras were. Oh man, I don't know. She is in pain there. She's one of my favorite opponents, Jomkwan. Just the sheer smoothness and vocabulary of what she's able to do, like the style that she has and the way that she can make adjustments all the time. She's a very smart fighter. She's very slick. I don't know, like a lot of really top female fighters have very, very simple ways of dominating most of their opponents, so they don't have to have like a great vocabulary of anything. She has a really broad vocabulary of what she's able to do. She's a very good fighter. That girl in the yellow hat is the Golden Rabbit who I fought a few years ago. So here are people coming to take photos with me as well. They're very nice. This German couple, this is Helen. She fought before me. She fought so well. I did not realize it was only her second fight. She fought so incredibly well. I'm kind of amazed that was her second fight. And then a German couple came up and took photos with me and said they had my 200 fight shorts, which was awesome. I told them tonight was 244, and they're like, oh, we'll buy your 300 fight shorts. People like totally being on message of what I'm trying to do is pretty amazing to me and inspiring. It's so nice that people come and help me. Both of these guys were great cornermen. And one of the great things about fighting in Thailand is that Muay Thai is like a way of life for so many people that when you go to a fight night, there are totally like kids or peripheral members of teams or people who also have female fighters on a card who can totally come and help you. That's Golden Rabbit. I wanted a photo with her. I was so stoked she came to see me. When she first came up to the mat, she was like, do you remember me? And I actually didn't recognize her because she looks so different. But when I realized it was her, I got really excited. I was like, we were actually talking about you like in the car ride on the way down here. This is her and her husband. And this guy was saying he was going to take a picture of them because they were going to fight later and her husband would lose. He's a trainer. That's Miriam. I love this kind of like milling around right after fights when you come out and your adrenaline is still pumping and people are all really excited. It's always nice. Even when you lose, it's nice to have people come around you. So if you're ever at one of my fights and I lose, you can still come over, say hi. Taking off the tape can be complicated because you don't know where it starts. This place was awesome though, the way that they like packed everything up and shut down so fast. Kevin was like, hurry up and shower and get in the car because everything was being closed down so quick. I haven't even taken my mouthpiece out. This is a mouthpiece that Kevin made me get. And it's really, really good that I don't even have to take it out between rounds. So if you guys ever get a mouthpiece done by a dentist, highly recommend, rather than the boil-in bites that I've always had. Fight 244. Hey. I just fought fight 244 in Hua Hin. I have not fought in Hua Hin in years.
Maybe 3 years?
3 years. And this one came about as a like salvation fight at the last minute. I was supposed to fight tonight in Chiang Mai and it totally fell apart with the promoter. And this promoter had said that he would look for a fight for me for next month or whatever. So I just sent him a message and was like, hey, I want to fight on the 26th because I knew he had a card, and he was like, all right, I'll put you on there. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, fuck yes, I want to fight. And then, on top of that, my opponent was Jomkwan. He sent me a photo of her, and I didn't recognize her, but when I saw her name, I remembered. She is a fucking good fighter. Really, really good. And I fought her twice before. I won the first one, I lost the second one, but this was years ago. This was like 3 or 4 years ago.
3 years ago.
And it was up in Asan. She's from Karat. I fought her the first time in Karat and the second time in Mahasarakham, which is like deeper into Asan. And oh man, she's really good. And she's not huge. So she was like big for what size was big for me back in the day when I fought her. Now she's small for the size I'm normally fighting.
She's 4 or 5 kilos difference.
She's probably over 50, I think.
Yeah, so 5 kilos.
Like maybe 50. Maybe 51 or something. She's like 5 kilos bigger and tall.
So when you say she's not big,
I'm saying she's not like the 55, 58, 60 that I fight now.
Yeah.
But she...
Maybe does this look like we're going right?
Yeah, it hasn't said anything yet.
In 200 meters, turn left.
200 meters.
She's so polite.
But, so we came down, no corner.
Turn left.
And
which is how we like it.
Which is how we like it. And the venue ended up being kind of like a festival fight, which I also really like because there were all kinds of stresses that I put on myself that I invented for myself in this fight that didn't exist otherwise.
Totally fantasy.
Oh. But my corner ended up being the husband of a girl I fought in Hua Hin many, many years ago called the Golden Rabbit. Emma fought her also. And she came up to my match. She came to watch me fight Miriam from Port Pramin Gym, who is where Gradai Tong fought out of when I fought her. she was like, I haven't seen you in forever. So she came to see me
Oh,
and
she didn't
hasn't
come with
seen
Miriam?
Miriam in forever.
Oh my God.
Even though her husband is a trainer for Miriam's gym. So I feel like in terms of the Rolodex of legends I had who were potentially going to come help me in this fight, I could have asked Dieselnoy to come with me. But I'm actually glad I didn't, because this is his last chance to see his daughter before she goes back to Japan. And then we're thinking of maybe bringing Karahat, and then Gansak is visiting his mom in Hua Hin, so we're like, maybe Gansak will corner for me. Rolodex of legends. I'm super stoked and honored that Kradai Dong came to see me and that her husband cornered for me. That's fucking awesome. To get to the point, I won by knockout. Did not know that this was going to be a belt fight, so apparently I have a belt in Hua Hin now also.
Yeah.
They just put it on things. Like,
Put a
belt on it.
Put a bird on it.
I got to meet a woman who's on my Muay Thai forum, who we have lamented back and forth for a few months now, I think. I think it's been a year since we first started talking to each other, but the forum has come back alive, which is great. People are on it. Go to it if you have any kind of questions. We got to see her fight. She was awesome. I was very impressed. When she said that was her second fight, my jaw kind of fell off of my face. She fought really, really well. And so now we're heading back up to Bangkok. We had some crazy traffic on the way down. That Kevin has intuitions that are amazing, like real intuitions that are, we should do this or we should do that, that change our lives. But he also has really small ones that are like, we should leave early and get a hotel in Bangkok instead of doing it at 4 a.m. That was a really good idea.
That was a good one.
Kevin likes to get points, which are useless because I take away all his points all the time when he's wrong. So he can be right a couple of times and like get a bunch of points, but then I dock him all the points when he's a dick about something. So he's currently in the black, but he'll probably be in the red by the time we get to
30 minutes. Yeah.
by the time you miss a turn and blame me for it.
Totally.
Thank you everyone who watched the live stream. I have to tell Pinu that I won. I have to go see what Karahat just wrote to me. Yeah, Jomkwan's awesome. She was my fight 121, 141, and now 244.
She's a very nice fighter.
Yeah, for you guys who want to talk about like all the damage Sylvie's getting, I fucking remember all my opponents. I didn't recognize Kradai Tong because she looks different, not because I don't remember who she is.
Yeah.
I know the numbers of fights I fought people too. I remember all kinds of things.
Man.
Oh my god, when you guys watched the video, she did this jumping knee to my face that landed on my nose. And I have a little bit of a bloody nose and a fucking bashed up leg that I'll be enjoying on my fight on Monday. But we'll get some heat, put some heat on it.
Oh, that's what we gotta stop at 7-Eleven.
People are like, put a belt on it. I'm like, put some heat on it. It's like my Windex. You put it on fucking everything.
WD-40.
WD-40. All right.
That's good.
Long and rambly enough?
That was pretty good. I like the ramble. My favorite is when you ramble.
244, win, KO, in the books. Thank you guys for watching the live stream. Thank you to my patrons. I love you guys. Thank you to everyone who helped me prepare. Thank you for my stitches. I mean, my scar not opening. Wasn't even close.
Not even close.
I took an elbow.
She
that
threw
was
a
nice.
couple elbows.
She got an elbow up here. That was pretty good.
You landed 2 elbows, baby.
Oh, I did. I
You
felt
did.
really good.
Yeah.
My elbow was like itching on them.
You were like.
All right. We'll watch the road now. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.